Ah, there we go. My Dixie something says hello. Call me James. Yes, that's fine. And you can call me Bond. Together we can make James Bond, right? He says, sorry for the silly username. That's all right. I couldn't figure it out what it is stemming from, but nevertheless, I've seen a weirder one, so don't worry. This is YouTube. People do what they want. So James, what's going on? James says, I was broken up with 14 days ago after a 5-year relationship. I still cry most nights. Is this normal? I'm a male. Of course it is normal. First of all, we have a protocol here, James. Since I don't see you guys, I can't figure out where you're tuning in from, a little bit about your nationality or cultural background that could help me to answer when you ask a question, or your age. I have no knowledge of that. So what I need is 3 simple things. At least your gender, how old you are, and where you're tuning in from. In other words, the country you're in and you live in, you're raised in. So that will give me somewhat of a background. Gender gives me an information to appropriately tailor make my response to that gender. And also age will tell me which stage of life you're at, and also where you're coming from. It gives me a little bit of a limited knowledge about your traditions, cultures, and so on, and perhaps mentality, or how your consciousness was put together, at least in some ways. So that's the least I can have here. And James says, I'm a male, 27, and I'm from the UK. All right, fair enough. Now, yes, you cry at night is very normal, and I'm glad you do that. Because when you do that, you actually are releasing all those stuff that is bothering you there, and you're getting rid of it, bringing new energy into you. You get hopeful and you feel relieved, and these are natural and good, normal way of dealing with something sometimes. But as to why you cry, that's something that we might want to address. Well, as you have just found my channel, which again, I hoped that people would find my channel sooner, and I'm trying to do whatever I can with the tags to make that happen. But as you have seen, the channel has over 1,500 videos. Almost anything that you think after your breakup, or any feelings that you might have after breakup, if you key in that on the search engine of my channel, type it in, there's bound to be a video or two or bunch of videos on that topic. So support is there for you until you're ready and you're out of your sadness, and you'll all be fine. I assure you that. That's not a new thing. You're not the first one, and you're not going to be the last one. We've all gone through it, and we've all come out of it perfectly well. Even though it might not look like it right now, because you're into that whole frequency of sadness, and I lost it, and this and that, and I'm not good enough, somebody else better than me, or who's sleeping with her, who's gonna do this, and all those memories, all that comes to your mind and makes you think like the world is crushing down on you. But believe me, nothing will happen, and nothing has happened to you. Absolutely nothing. You just can't see it. You just think it has happened because emotionally you're being charged and affected. And when you're emotionally affected, you think you're affected. You don't understand that you're emotionally affected because that's what you are. You're a human being. You're supposed to be emotionally affected. Otherwise, they wouldn't call you a human being. They would call you a piece of wood. So this is all good. And then you have created an image of yourself in your mind about you. Now that something has changed, you think, oh, People are not seeing me the way I would like them to see, because my image is not the same as I had designed it to be because of this incident, this happening. Now you're running around trying to keep that image together. Listen, the images are coming and going during the day hundreds of times. If you go to a store, you have an image of a shopper. If you work at the store, you have an image of a clerk. When you get on the bus, you have an image of a passenger. If you go to school, you have an image of a student. If you go to your mom and dad, you have an image of a son or daughter. So all these images, depending on what we are doing on that moment in our daily life, we adopt it and then we throw it out to the next thing that we want to do. We need a new image and so on. So these images worth nothing. They're just there for you to interact with life. And you create that. Now what has happened after breakup, really nothing has happened. All has happened is that you think your image, the way it was and the way the routine of your life was, is changed. And now you feel imbalanced. Look, why you're crying is not necessarily just because you're no longer with that woman that you used to have intimacy with and making you feel good and all that. There are many reasons for that. And one reason is that 5 years of relationship, that means you were 22 years old. At 22, you hardly know who you are, let alone knowing what kind of girl you really wanted. But nevertheless, at that time, that was your taste, that was your expectations, and that's what you needed. And you got involved with this girl, and you went through 5 years of growing up together. Now, in this 5 years, you have changed tremendously. And you're not respecting those changes. You still want to hold on to something that no longer you might even want it, because you are now a different person than you were 22 years when you were at 22. So according to that, we are dynamic consciousnesses. We are not just physical body. We go through dynamic changes in our consciousness. And through those changes, we become who we are when we change from what we are to something else. And you've made those changes through this 5 years. But you're also, through those 5 years, gotten used to how things were. See, right now, those changes are actually telling you, I really not necessarily think this is the right girl. Obviously, that is the case between both of you. That's why you guys are no longer together. But you want to not pay attention to facts that you're changed and this girl not necessarily is the right girl for you anymore. But instead you want to sacrifice this attention, this fact, for keeping status quo, keeping how things were. Why? Because we human beings are always looking for an order, a routine. Because in the routine and in the order of how things are, our mind finds security. You see, our mind is not like the rest of our body. It's not like our fingers that's hanging on from the wrist, or the elbow, or the forearm hanging on from the elbow, and this here, whatever it is, hanging on from the shoulder, and so on. And our ears are here, our eyes are here, our nose is here, and everything else we know where it is. It's our brain doesn't have a place in our body like everything else has a place in our body. So while these things can relax where they are and falling down, and that's their own place, our legs, our hands, our nose, our ears, and all that, they're all there and they're relaxed because that's their place. They have a place in our body. The mind doesn't have a place in the body, and it's trying to find a place to be occupied, not to be like a gypsy running around different places. It wants a place, and it doesn't have that. The only place that it can find for itself, the way it can find a place for itself, is through a routine of things, through an order, a certain lifestyle, that it becomes a habit. And in that habit, in that order, in that routine, mind finds security, relaxation, finds a home. Until you teach it where the home really is, This is where mind finds its place of being, to hang his hat on. And of course, in my book, Me, My Psyche, and I, you can all go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, click on the ebooks and find the Me, My Psyche, and I. In that book, I've explained how to train the mind, where the mind should actually reside, so the mind and body will have coordination. So mind will have a place in the body. But until you read that, between chapter 32 and chapter 40, there's a chapter on that topic. But until you do that, this is what everybody's mind is trying to do, to find a place to stay, to be, to relax in the order of things. Now, what is an order? Order is created by the mechanical processes. Mechanical processes are the things you do in the day. You know, you get up, you have your tea or coffee, you text each other, or you get up together if you live together. You go to school or go to work, wherever it is. After work, you know, maybe you have lunch together in the day. And after work, maybe you guys go, I don't know, do something, go to gym together, or go some outing, or whatever it is, or meet some friends. All the things that you do is mechanical processes. And through these mechanical processes, you create a routine in your life. This routine is that order where your mind finds security in it and resides and is content. Everything is good. Now, before you guys got together, met each other, you had a different order because you were a single person and you were doing different things. Mechanical processes were different. Your habits, the things you were doing during the day, the things you were occupied with, entertained yourself with, whatever it was different. So therefore you had a different order. Once you guys got together, you started doing things together. Therefore your mechanical process, the stuff that you guys were doing, became a dual. Both of you were sharing it, in most cases. Still, you had some of the other stuff that you were doing on your own, but in most cases, those stuff became a shared stuff that you guys were doing it together. Together, you were doing stuff. And because together you were doing stuff, you created a new order, a new routine, which in time replaced your old single way of doing things, single routine, single order. And after a while, you forgot your own before the relationship order. Your single order was forgotten, and the new order of things when you were in a relationship was your way of doing things, your habit, your routine, your order. And that's where your mind got learned, that's where I hang my hat. Now that you guys have broken up, the mind wants to hang his hat, doesn't know where. Why? Because that order that was based on two of you doing things is broken. Because you can't do all those things on your own and create the same routine, because it was done by two people. It needed two actors to create those same mechanical processes happening, the experiences happening, and therefore the order would have been the same as it was. But now it's not, because it's only one of you. Because you cannot create those things, your mind is kind of agitated, is looking around. Where can I hang my hat? Where is my home? Where was my comfort? Where was my routine? Where was my relaxation? That's one of the reasons that you are off balance, which makes you think you're off balance because she's not around. Not because she's not around. Not necessarily. Of course, it's got something to do with that, definitely. But it's because the order of things has kind of gone upside down. And that's where the problem is, and you feel depressed, things are not the same, and you cry, which is fine. But you gotta recognize that you're 27 years old, a different person. At age 22, you hardly knew yourself, and you chose a girl. Well, we all do, because appropriate to our age, we get involved with someone. And this girl was your choice. But this girl is no longer can be your choice, because you have changed and she has changed. And through these 5 years, your consciousness, experiences, expectations, and all that have changed. It doesn't mean she's bad or you're no longer good or somebody is better than you. None of that shit. Because who died and left her in charge? That her choices will make you good, or her choices for somebody else will make you feel, oh, I'm not as good, because it's who you are and your worth and values depending on what she chooses. That's nonsense. But the point is, at age 22, you hardly knew who you are, let alone know what kind of girl you want. So your selection of a kind of girl at that age was basically based on hormonal. You're programming your gene. You're a heterosexual male, so you were programmed to want, pursue, love, want to get to know a heterosexual female. And so based on that, you liked that girl, how she looked physically. You hardly know how her consciousness was put together, who she is. So you really didn't select your girlfriend based on who she is, which is all her dogmas, nationalities, religions, and things she's learned, she's been experienced and exposed to, the teachers she met, the parents and all that, all the books she read and everything else she experienced, was exposed to, is what had created her consciousness. Same thing for you. All that same stuff for you created your consciousness. So you guys didn't get together based on knowing each other's consciousness at that age. You got together because you saw, she's got nice pair of legs, or she's got nice looking face, and, you liked her hair, or whatever it was that you liked about her. Or just the fact that she was a female and you're programmed to be attracted to that. You didn't go any further than that. It was all, about intimacy and, how a heterosexual male and a female are. They're attracted to each other. Not because they know about each other's minds and compatibility and consciousness, because they just are designed to be attracted to each other for procreation. So you chose her on those bases. But were they the right basis for a long-lasting relationship? No, because you don't make a relationship or keep a relationship based on your looks or your fitness or your body and all that in each other's body. You build a relationship based on compatibility on the consciousness level. And at that age, you had no idea what consciousness was, let alone knowing if you guys are compatible or not. Now through these things, whatever it was, you guys seem to hit it off at that time. So to a point, you guys kind of tried to compromise or found yourself compatible on consciousness level, because you were just both pretty much very young people, haven't really developed the way you would have developed later, which it is now. So you made it work. But through the time, your consciousnesses were changing and hers were changing. And now you're a different person. And both want to go to different directions. You may think that she's the only one who wants to go a different direction, but actually it is both, because obviously the consciousnesses are not compatible as they used to be, because they were at a very primitive stage at age 22. Now they're in an advanced stage. You guys think there are other things that you want to experience in life, your own personal thing, not necessarily be with somebody else, just personal thing. And if she cannot find and fulfill that on her own, she would then think, well, the things that I'm not achieving in life, it's not my responsibility, it's, his responsibility, her boyfriend's responsibility, and she's not taking responsibility for that, perhaps, I don't know her, perhaps, and therefore she thinks, oh, maybe I should just jump ship, go to another branch and explore other things. Maybe I find something that it is more to my stage of life liking or expectations. That all have nothing to do with you. That's her personal preferences. She can go wherever direction she wants. That's her right. You can wish her well and respect that. But it's not a signal to say that you're not good enough. It's just a different person, has different way of wiring things and things that are happening in her, and that she's reacting to what it is that makes her journey to be something that she hopes to learn or experience, or she thinks it should be. For 5 years, you guys were together perfectly. Now, you guys are a different person, and you respect that for her, and also respect yourself, for heaven's sake. Go on and find someone else that meets you at this stage of your life, according to her consciousness and yours, could be compatible better than last 5 years, or your previous choice, and it definitely 100% and certainly will. It's just the fact that you're used to, for 5 years, for this kind of a routine, this kind of an order. So it's not going to be overnight that you're going to be all okay with it. Of course you're going to cry. And that's perfectly fine. If you didn't, I would have questioned it. Means what? You're not a human being, you have no emotions? Of course you will. So these are all perfectly fine. But focus on the fact that there's no shortage of women in this world, and that you're at a different stage of life, you're more sophisticated, and despite the fact that it might not look that, oh, I don't want anybody else, you want her. No, you just want the same routine, not necessarily her. You actually may want somebody and prefer somebody better for you. Better means what? Means at least begins with someone who wants to stay with you and be with you and grow with you. She doesn't. That makes her disqualified. You shouldn't be thinking just because she left, you're disqualified, you're not good enough. You should be thinking the fact that because she left, she's not qualified, and she's disqualified. She's not good enough with you. Why? The first condition, criteria for someone being good enough for you is that she wants to be with you. She wants to stay with you, grow together, learn together, and exchange energy and exchange interactions. If one doesn't want to do that, then that's a deal breaker. It's not a indicator of that, oh, you weren't good enough. What do you mean? Who's she? What has she accomplished in life that she is what? Suddenly all knowing, the good enough, that her choice of not wanting to be with you means that, oh, you're no longer good enough? What is that supposed to mean? Understand, this is the humanity, this is the human being's way of development. You guys were 22, now she's 27, or you're 27, whatever she is. You guys are changing. And that's okay. Everything has a duration, and this relationship had a duration. Now, don't turn it into suffering just because you want this to continue the rest of your life. How boring would that be? You chose a girl at 22 and that's it? That's the girl you wanted? You think that you were fully developed at 22, so you made your best choice and expected all your standards were met? No, you didn't even have standards at that age. That's why you chose each other. Now, you have a standard, so you should expect a different kind of a woman because you guys grew up. But it doesn't mean that you're not good enough or she's not good enough. It just means you guys are growing. That's part of being a human. So enjoy this for what it was, the duration that it was, and look forward to another wonderful, amazing, which is going to be far more amazing than this ever was, because you guys were at a very young age. You didn't even know yourself, let alone to know what to expect from each other or from a partner. Now, you kind of have an idea. Even now, I don't think you're that ready. You're 27. For another 3-4 years, you still would be here and there. And then you know enough about yourself to know what you really are doing in life, what you really can offer, what you really can expect, and what you're looking for. So until then, enjoy your life, my friend. You just entered the normal realm of this universe, of this life experience. You're as normal as every one of us are. So relax, enjoy, focus on your life. Do not let it jeopardize your career, your job, or if you're studying, your studies. Those things cannot come back, but the relationship and all that, they'll all be replaced one way or another. You may not see it right now, but that's not your job. It's my job to tell you that you don't see it, but it's coming. Just because you don't see something is coming doesn't mean it's not existence. If you go stand in front of the ocean and look, there's no ships. Does that mean there's no ships in the ocean? No, there are no ships in your field of vision, but there are ships on the way towards that shore that you're standing. You just can't see it far enough. They will eventually come to your field of vision, the distance that you can see. So you may not see why this has happened, but there are all many other shifts on in their way, other experiences on their way to you. So enjoy it, be prepared, continue your studies, continue your career. Don't allow this to destroy your career. That's where the money comes from. That's where the food is put on the table. Those are the most important things, which your next girlfriend is going to be looking for. It. Can you provide? Do you have means? Do you have a job? These are criteria. You don't want to lose those criteria. Focus on that. Build a life, and you'll be more sought after than you can ever imagine. Build yourself. This is the time. Focus on your life. Do not allow it to damage what it is most precious in life, which is your sustainability, independence, and don't allow these emotions get you down to the point that you will jeopardize all those opportunities that you should be attending, your duties and responsibilities. And everything will be fine. I guarantee you that. All right. Now, that was a long one. You sure got your money's worth, didn't you? All right, guys, at least make sure you promote the channel, because we are not visible, as I always mention. I'm trying to change the tags and do my best and make it all work fine. But in the meantime, I need you guys to share the videos in your social media. I need you guys to talk with the people that you know, whether they're in the media, television, radio, or I don't know, sites, and help them to understand what we do here. Maybe they want to do an interview with us. Maybe they want to do an article on our channel. Or if you guys having a chat room, a Reddit, or this and that, talk about this channel and promote us and let people know, so we can help other people, more people, and also grow and have more subscribers and make it economically viable for me to be able to spend more time and effort and travel around and meet people and put workshops and help people in more tangible way. I hope that would be something you will not forget. At least the help you can give this channel if you have been benefited from its content. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and if you haven't clicked on like, please do. These are all helpful.